Full session capture is on. Hello and welcome. The Iliad. The god of war is fair to all. He slays those who love slaughter. The god of war is fair to all. He slays those who love slaughter. Homer's Iliad. Ja. Dit boek, ja. Okay.
Marriage to the king's daughter, Antigone, the birth of a girl, Polydora, high status in Phthia as heir apparent to the throne of the Myrmidons, purification from his crime. Things looked good for Peleus. But he and Telamon were made of energetic, restless material, and the settled domesticity of married life suited neither. Over the coming years, they distinguished themselves on board the Argo in the quest for the Golden Fleece. And afterwards, like so many of the Argonaut veterans, they flocked to Calydon to join in the hunt for the monstrous boar that Artemis had sent to ravage the countryside. In the heat of that legendary chase, Peleus' spear went wide and fatally wounded his father-in-law Eurytion. Accident or no accident, this was another blood crime, another kin-slaying, and Peleus once more found himself in need of royal expiation. The king who offered to cleanse him this time was Acastus, the son of Jason's old enemy Pelias. And so now it was to Acastus's Aeolian kingdom of Iolcos that Peleus made his way. Bear with me, listeners. By this time, Peleus had outgrown the unappealing characteristics that had caused him to play so monstrous a part in the killing of his young half-brother Phocus, and he was now recognized by all to be a modest, amiable, and charming man. So modest, so charming, so amiable, and so handsome, too, that it was not long before Acastus's wife, Astidamea, found herself overcome by desire for Peleus. She came to his bedchamber one night and did everything she could to seduce him, but with no success. His sense of propriety as a guest and friend of Acastus froze him in horror as she repeatedly pushed her body against his. Stung by the rejection, Astidamea turned her love to hate. Those of you who know the story of Bellerophon and Sthenobia, or of Theseus' son Hippolytus and Phaedra, or indeed that of Joseph and Potiphar's wife in the book of Genesis, will be familiar with the mytheme or recurrent trope of the woman scorned, and how it inevitably unwinds. Hot with mortification, Astidamea sent a message to Peleus' wife Antigone, who was home in Phthia, raising their daughter Polydora. Antigone, this is to advise you that your husband Peleus, whom you thought so faithful, is now betrothed to my stepdaughter Sterope. I can imagine how painful for you this news must be. Peleus has made no secret of his distaste for you. Your figure, since giving birth, he tells the court, is now as plump and squashy as an overripe fig, and he cannot bear the sight of you. It is as well you hear this from me, and not from one who wishes you ill. Your friend, Astidamea. After Antigone heard this message, she went out and hanged herself. Even such a terrible outcome was not enough for the vengeful Astidamea, who now approached her husband with bowed head and choked sobs. "Oh, My husband, she began. Whatever is the matter? Said Acastus. No, I cannot say. No, I cannot. I command you to tell me what is troubling you. The terrible story came tumbling out. How the lustful Peleus had come to her bedchamber and tried to force himself upon her. How she had repulsed the rape and written to advise Antigone of her husband's faithlessness. How Antigone, in her humiliation and grief, had taken her own life. How Astidemea had wanted to keep all this from Acastus, who seemed so fond of Peleus, but now he had prized it from her. Oh dear, she hoped she had not done wrong in telling him. Even as Acastus comforted his wife, his mind set itself on an implacable course. He knew he had to be careful. It would be an infraction of the sacred laws of hospitality to kill his guest. Not only that, Peleus was a grandson of Zeus. To lay hands upon him would be foolhardy. Nonetheless, Acastus was determined to ensure the death of the wanton and depraved villain who had dared lay hands on his wife. The next day, he and his courtiers took their young guest out on a hunting expedition. In the late afternoon, Peleus, exhausted from the chase, found a grassy bank at the edge of a dark wood and sank into a deep sleep. Signaling for...